Narcissism Unmasked: Understanding and Coping with Narcissistic Personality Disorder. Remember, it's not just a river in Egypt, it's also a personality disorder. Prayers to anyone dealing with a narcissistic person. It is one of the hardest things you will ever experience in this life. From the author Deborah L. Guy. Dealing with a narcissist can be a challenging and painful experience. Whether it's a family member, friend, or a romantic partner, the effects of their self-obsessed behavior and emotional manipulation can be devastating. It's not uncommon for victims of narcissism to feel trapped, hopeless, and helpless in the face of their abuser's behavior. But it doesn't have to be that way. This book aims to provide readers with an understanding of narcissism, its impact on relationships, and strategies for coping with the narcissist. By exploring the various aspects of narcissistic personality disorder, or NPD, and the traits that define it, this book will help readers recognize the signs of narcissism and understand how it affects those around them. By drawing on the latest research and expert insights, this book offers practical guidance and support to those struggling with the effects of narcissism. It will help readers develop the tools needed to set boundaries, manage their emotions, and protect their mental health when dealing with a narcissist. Whether you're a victim of narcissistic abuse or simply looking to gain a deeper understanding of the disorder, this book is an essential guide to navigating the complex and challenging world of narcissism. What this video covers and the book: Chapter 1, What is Narcissism? 2, Trauma Bonding and You. 3, What causes someone to become a narcissist? 4, Identifying the narcissist. 5, Understanding the narcissist. 6, Dealing with the narcissist. 7, Does the narcissist ever change? 8, Protecting yourself and setting boundaries. 9, The gray rock method of dealing with a narcissist. And 10, Seeking professional help and healing. Chapter 2, Trauma Bonding and You. Trauma bonding is a psychological phenomenon that occurs when a person forms a strong emotional attachment to their abuser. It is a complex and often misunderstood concept that can make it difficult for victims of abuse to leave their abuser or seek help. Trauma bonding is also known as Stockholm Syndrome, which is a term that was coined after a group of hostages in Stockholm, Sweden, developed a strong emotional attachment to their captors. Trauma bonding is a result of the emotional and psychological manipulation that occurs during abusive relationships. Abusers use a variety of tactics to control and manipulate their victims, including gaslighting, isolation, and physical and emotional abuse. Over time, the victim may develop an intense emotional attachment to their abuser, despite the abuse that they are experiencing. One of the reasons why trauma bonding occurs is because the victim may feel that they are responsible for the abuse that they are experiencing. The abuser may blame the victim for their behavior, making them feel guilty and responsible for the abuse. This can lead to feelings of shame, guilt, and a belief that they are unworthy of love and respect. The reason why trauma bonding occurs is that the abuser may also use intermittent reinforcement. This means that the abuser may alternate between being kind and loving and then being abusive and cruel. This can create a sense of unpredictability and confusion for the victim, which can make them more vulnerable to emotional manipulation. Trauma bonding can be incredibly difficult to break, as the victim may feel that they have a deep emotional connection to their abuser. The victim may also fear retribution if they attempt to leave the relationship or seek help. However, with the right support and resources, it is possible to break the cycle of trauma bonding and begin to heal from the effects of abuse. One of the first steps in breaking the cycle of trauma bonding is to recognize that abuse is not the victim's fault. The abuser is responsible for their behavior, and the victim deserves to be treated with love, respect, and kindness. It is also important to seek support from a trusted friend or family member, a therapist, or a domestic violence advocate. These individuals can provide emotional support and guidance as the victim begins to heal from the effects of the abuse. Another important step in breaking the cycle of trauma bonding is to set boundaries with the abuser. This may include setting limits on the type of behavior that is acceptable, or even ending the relationship altogether. It is important to remember that setting boundaries and seeking help is not a sign of weakness, but rather a sign of strength and courage. In conclusion, trauma bonding is a complex and challenging phenomenon that can occur in abusive relationships. However, with the right support and resources, it is possible to break the cycle of trauma bonding and begin to heal from the effects of abuse. If you or someone you know is experiencing abuse, it is important to seek help and support from a trusted source. Trauma bonding is a psychological phenomenon that occurs when a victim forms a strong emotional attachment to their abuser. It is a result of the emotional and psychological manipulation that occurs during abusive relationships. Abusers use a variety of tactics to control and manipulate their victims, including gaslighting, isolation, and physical and emotional abuse. Victims may develop intense emotional attachment to their abusers despite the abuse they experience. Trauma bonding occurs because victims may feel responsible for the abuse they are experiencing and feel guilty and unworthy of love and respect. Abusers may use intermittent reinforcement, which creates a sense of unpredictability and confusion for the victim, making them more vulnerable to emotional manipulation. Causes of narcissism. The causes of narcissism are complex and multifaceted, and researchers have proposed various theories to explain the origins of this personality disorder. Narcissism is characterized by a grandiose sense of self-importance, a lack of empathy, and a constant need for attention and admiration. It is a personality disorder that affects both men and women, and it can have a significant impact on a person's relationships, work, and social life. One theory of the causes of narcissism is that it results from a combination of genetic and environmental factors. Some studies have suggested that genetic factors play a role in development of narcissism, with certain genes being associated with the disorder. Other studies have focused on environmental factors such as parenting style and childhood experiences. For example, researchers have proposed that children who experience neglect or abuse may develop narcissistic traits as a way to cope with their traumatic experiences. Another theory is that it results from a failure to develop a healthy sense of self-esteem during childhood. Children who are praised excessively or given unrealistic expectations may develop a distorted sense of self-worth, leading to narcissistic traits later in life. Similarly, children who are criticized or punished excessively may develop low self-esteem, which can also contribute to the development of narcissistic traits. Psychodynamic theories propose that narcissism is a defense mechanism that people use to protect themselves from feelings of shame and inadequacy. According to this theory, people with narcissistic traits may have experienced a significant emotional trauma or neglect during childhood, leading them to develop a distorted sense of self-worth as a way to protect themselves from further emotional pain. Finally, some researchers have proposed that narcissism is a product of cultural values and social norms. In some cultures, for example, individualism and competition are highly valued, which can contribute to the development of narcissistic traits. Similarly, social media and other forms of technology may contribute to the development of narcissism by providing a platform for people to seek attention and admiration. In conclusion, the causes of narcissism are complex and multifaceted, with various theories proposed to explain the origins of this personality disorder. Genetic, environmental, and psychosocial factors may all play a role in the development of narcissism. and further research is needed to better understand the causes of this disorder. Identifying the narcissist behavior. Narcissism is a psychological disorder characterized by an inflated sense of self-importance, a need for admiration, and a lack of empathy for others. People with this disorder have excessive sense of entitlement, a grandiose view of themselves, and an intense need for admiration. They often take advantage of others to achieve their own goals and feel superior to others. People with NPD may also be preoccupied with fantasies of power, success, beauty, and intelligence. They may have an excessive need for attention and admiration from others and may use manipulation or bullying to get it. Narcissists may also be excessively sensitive to criticism or failure and may become angry or depressed when their self-image is threatened. They may be prone to exaggerating their accomplishments and talents, or may be able to recognize their flaws and weaknesses. Unable to recognize their flaws and weaknesses. They may also be exploitative, using others for their gain without considering the consequences. Narcissists often have difficulty forming and maintaining healthy relationships. They may be domineering, manipulative, and prone to blaming others for their problems. They may also be overly jealous or possessive in their relationships. Self-centered and grandiose, obsessed with fantasies of power, success, and attractiveness, a strong need for admiration, exploitative of others. I know I'm not saying that right. Preoccupied with unrealistic fantasies of success, believes that they are special and can only be understood by other special people, has a strong sense of entitlement, prone to feeling envy, has difficulty regulating emotions, easily frustrated, unable to take criticism well, and has an exaggerated sense of self-importance. Understanding narcissistic behavior. Understanding a narcissist can be challenging as they often lack insight into their behavior and lack empathy for others. Narcissists often present as self-confident, arrogant, and controlling individuals. They tend to be very competitive and strive for perfection, expecting admiration and respect from those around them. Narcissists also tend to be grandiose and boastful, exaggerating their achievements and abilities. They may also be prone to manipulation, using others to get what they want. Recognize the narcissist's inflated sense of self. Narcissists have an exaggerated self-importance and entitlement. They often think they are better than others and deserve special treatment. Be aware of narcissists' need for admiration. Narcissists need constant admiration and attention. They often act out to get the attention they crave. Understanding the narcissist's lack of empathy. Narcissists lack empathy and often do not take into consideration the feelings of others. They are often unaware of how their behavior affects others. Acknowledge the narcissist's defensiveness. Narcissists can be very defensive when confronted or criticized. They may become angry or hostile to protect their fragile ego. Be aware of the narcissist's grandiosity. Narcissists often have grandiose ideas and beliefs about themselves and their abilities. They may make outrageous claims or exaggerated boasts about their accomplishments. And recognize the narcissist's manipulative behavior. Narcissists often use manipulation to get what they want. They may use guilt, coercion, or even threats to get their own way. Dealing with a narcissist. Dealing with narcissists can be difficult as they are manipulative, demanding, and self-centered. It is important to maintain boundaries when interacting with them and to be firm in your convictions. Avoid engaging in arguments and do not let their criticism or belittling comments go unchecked. Focus on your own needs and feelings and be clear in communicating with them. It is important to be assertive and to stand up for yourself while also being respectful and courteous. When possible, try to avoid or limit contact with the narcissist and focus on self-care. Number 1, set boundaries. Make sure to clearly define and communicate what behaviors are acceptable and what are not. Number 2, avoid confrontation. Narcissists often take criticism personally and may become defensive or aggressive. It is best to avoid any sort of confrontation. 3, don't take things personally. Remember that the narcissist is not attacking you, but rather is expressing their insecurities and projecting them onto you. Number 4, maintain a positive attitude. Remain calm and positive in the face of narcissism and try not to take it personally. Number 5, focus on positive. If you focus on the positive qualities of the narcissist, you can help them to see the good in themselves. Maybe. Number 6, seek support. If you are feeling overwhelmed, it is important to reach out to friends and family for support. 7, take care of yourself. It's important to practice self-care and prioritize your mental health and well-being. Does the narcissist ever change? Malignant narcissists are individuals who possess traits of narcissistic personality disorder and are considered to be the most extreme and dangerous subtype of narcissism. These individuals exhibit an extreme sense of entitlement, a lack of empathy, and a willingness to exploit and manipulate others for their own benefit. Unfortunately, it is highly unlikely that a malignant narcissist can change. A narcissist personality disorder is a deeply ingrained and pervasive personality disorder that is difficult to treat. Malignant narcissists have a fundamental belief that they are superior to others and that they are entitled to special treatment and privileges. They cannot empathize with others and have a pathological need for control and power. Malignant narcissists are often highly skilled at manipulating and deceiving others to get what they want. They may charm and flatter people to gain their trust and then use them for their own benefit. They may also engage in gaslighting, which is a form of psychological abuse that involves distorting reality to make the victim doubt their perceptions and sanity. Malignant narcissists are also prone to explosive and unpredictable outbursts of anger and aggression, especially when they feel threatened or challenged. They may become verbally or physically abusive towards others, and they may also engage in vindictive and retaliatory behavior when they feel that their ego has been bruised. Due to the severity of their personality disorder and the lack of empathy and willingness to change, it is unlikely that a malignant narcissist can change. Therapy may help manage some of the symptoms of narcissistic personality disorder, but it is unlikely to cure the disorder. Protecting yourself and setting boundaries. To protect yourself from narcissistic abuse, it is important to set clear boundaries and communicate them effectively to the narcissist. Make sure that you're not enabling their behavior and that you are not allowing them to manipulate or control you. Avoid getting into heated arguments or debates with them, as they will often use this to further manipulate you. Additionally, try to maintain your self-confidence and be assertive in the face of their insults and put-downs. Seek out support from family and friends, and consider seeking professional help if the abuse becomes too overwhelming. Number 1, recognize that you are being abused. It's important to recognize that you're being abused in order to take the necessary steps to protect yourself and get the help you need. 2, set boundaries. Setting boundaries is essential to protect yourself from the narcissist's abuse. 3, seek professional help. It is important to seek professional help to cope with the effects of the abuse and to learn how to better protect yourself. 4, avoid engaging with narcissists. The best way to protect yourself is to avoid engaging with them at all. 5, learn to say no. Learning to say no is essential to protect yourself from the narcissist's manipulative behavior. 6. Take care of yourself. It is important to take care of yourself physically, emotionally, and mentally to cope with the abuse. 7. Seek support. It is important to seek support from family and friends to help you cope with abuse. Setting boundaries with a narcissist can be a challenging task, but it is necessary for maintaining your emotional and mental well-being. Narcissists tend to lack empathy, and they often feel entitled to control others' thoughts, feelings, and behaviors. Therefore, it is crucial to establish clear boundaries with them to protect yourself from their manipulative tactics and abusive behaviors. One of the first steps in setting boundaries with a narcissist is to identify your limits and needs. This includes recognizing your values, beliefs, and what you're willing and unwilling to tolerate. Once you have a clear understanding of your boundaries, you can then communicate them assertively and directly to the narcissist. It is important to remain calm, clear, and concise when communicating your boundaries to avoid triggering the narcissist's defensiveness. However, it is important to note that setting boundaries with a narcissist is not a one-time event, but an ongoing process. Narcissists tend to test boundaries and push limits regularly, so it is essential to stay vigilant and hold firm to your boundaries. This requires being consistent and following through with consequences when the narcissist violates your boundaries. It is also important to avoid engaging in arguments or debates with the narcissist and to maintain your composure and self-control. Additionally, seeking support from trusted friends or professionals can help set boundaries with a narcissist. Narcissists can be very skilled at gaslighting, manipulating, and undermining their victims. So, having a support system can provide you with validation, encouragement, and perspective. Support can also help you to identify and address any codependent tendencies that may be hindering your ability to set and maintain boundaries. In summary, setting boundaries with a narcissist requires clarity, consistency, and support. It is essential to identify your limits and communicate them assertively while remaining calm and direct. Staying vigilant and holding firm to your boundaries, avoiding engaging in arguments or debates, and seeking support from trusted sources can all help to maintain your emotional and mental well-being when dealing with a narcissist. Bullet points. Identify your boundaries and limits. Communicate your boundaries directly and assertively. Remain calm and composed when setting boundaries. Avoid engaging in arguments or debates with the narcissist. Stay consistent in enforcing your boundaries. Seek support from trusted friends or professionals. Be aware that setting boundaries with a narcissist is an ongoing process. Hold firm to your boundaries, even if the narcissist tests them. Avoid getting caught up in the narcissist's manipulation or gaslighting tactics. Remember that you have the right to protect yourself and your emotional well-being. Gray rock method of dealing with a narcissist. This is probably the most important thing that I will read about this subject. The gray rock method is a technique that can be used to deal with narcissists or other manipulative people in your life. It involves becoming as uninteresting and unresponsive as a gray rock. Essentially, you're trying to give the narcissist as little emotional fuel as possible, in the hopes that they will lose interest and move on to someone else. When dealing with a narcissist, it's important to remain calm and unemotional. Try to avoid reacting to their manipulative tactics and instead focus on being as boring and unresponsive as possible. This may involve giving short, neutral responses to their questions, avoiding eye contact, and generally minimizing your interactions with them as much as possible. I'll add in because they're poison. While the gray rock method can be effective in some cases, it's important to remember that it's not a magic solution. Narcissists can be very persistent and may continue to try to manipulate and control you, even if you are not giving them the emotional reaction they desire. In some cases, it may be necessary to seek professional help or to cut ties with the narcissist entirely. And if you are able to cut ties entirely, do it. Nothing's going to change ever with them. Seeking professional help and healing. Seeking professional help can be a crucial step in dealing with a narcissist. A narcissistic personality disorder is a complex and challenging disorder that can have a profound impact on the lives of those affected by it. Professional help can provide you with the support and guidance you need to navigate the challenges of dealing with a narcissist. One of the most effective forms of therapy for dealing with a narcissist is cognitive behavioral therapy, or CBT. CBT is a type of therapy that focuses on identifying and changing negative thought patterns and behaviors. It can help you to develop coping strategies and tools to manage your emotions and respond to the narcissist's behavior healthily and constructively. Another effective form of therapy for dealing with a narcissist is psychoeducation. Psychoeducation involves learning about narcissistic personality disorder, including the symptoms, causes, and treatment options. Understanding the nature of the disorder can help you to develop a better understanding of the narcissist's behavior and develop strategies for dealing with them. It's also essential to seek support from a therapist or counsel who has experience working with NPD. A trained therapist can provide you with a safe and supportive space to process your emotions and work through the challenges of dealing with a narcissist. They can also provide you with practical advice and guidance on how to navigate difficult situations with a narcissist. In addition to seeking professional help, it's important, very, very, very important, to practice self-care when dealing with a narcissist. This may include setting boundaries, engaging in activities that bring you joy and fulfillment, and developing a support system of friends and family who can provide you with emotional support and encouragement. Remember that dealing with a narcissist can be challenging, but with the right support and resources, you can learn to manage your emotions and maintain your mental and emotional well-being. Conclusion. Dealing with a narcissist can leave deep emotional wounds, but healing and recovery are possible. This book has provided readers with the tools, strategies, and support needed to not only cope with a narcissist, but also to heal from the emotional scars of narcissistic abuse. By understanding the dynamics of narcissism, developing self-care practices, and seeking professional support, victims of narcissistic abuse can begin to rebuild their lives and regain their sense of self-worth. This healing journey is not easy, and it may take time, but with perseverance and dedication, it is possible. It's okay to remember that healing is a process, and it's okay to take things one step at a time. Along the way, it's important to practice self-compassion, forgive oneself for past mistakes, and remain hopeful for the future. The healing journey is a personal one, and there is no right or wrong way to go about it. In conclusion, healing from the effects of narcissistic abuse requires a combination of self-care, support, and professional guidance, and I will add willpower. With the right resources and a commitment to personal growth, anyone can overcome the challenges of NPD and emerge stronger, healthier, and more resilient than ever before. Remember, healing is possible, and you deserve to live a happy, fulfilling life free from the effects of narcissistic abuse. References provided.